Hello and welcome to Sew with Christine. Here is a detailed tutorial on how to draft and cut this bustier jumpsuit. This is a two-part tutorial. In this first part, I'm going to be explaining how to draft this. I'm going to show you how to tighten your overbust so that it doesn't gape when you sew a dress like this. These are the fabrics I'll be using for this dress. I have this. This is a chiffon fabric and I have this as 2 yards. This is the lining for the dress and this is the ST. I'm going to use ST for the upper part to make this fan. If you're making use of a thicker fabric, then this may be optional for you. That is, if you want to, then you can use the ST. But for this fabric, I'm going to add ST to this since this is a bustier dress. I'm going to be drafting the front part of the upper piece of this jumpsuit on this paper, and I'm going to place my tape at 5 inches on the paper. We don't really need the upper part since this is a strapless bustier. That is why I want to start my measurement from 5 inches mark. From there, I'm going to measure the bust point. The bust point is 9 inches. Then I'm going to mark the chest line. For the chest line, you're going to divide your bust circumference by 6 and add 1 inch to it. After that, I'm going to mark the under bust line. The under bust measurement, that's the length, is 13.5 inches. I'm going to mark 13 inches instead to push the bust upward. Then I'll go ahead and mark the waistline. The waist length is 16 inches. I'll come to this side of the paper and I'll take down all the measurements here. Afterwards, I'm going to connect. Coming to the chest line here, I'm going to mark the half nipple to nipple measurement, which is 3.25 inches. After marking from the top downward, I'm going to draw a straight line over the marked point. Then at the top part of this paper, I'm going to mark the half shoulder width measurement, which is 7 inches. I'll take the same measurement on the chest line and I will connect upward. Next, on the chest line, I'm going to mark the quarter bust measurement. After that, I'm going to draw a curve. So this is the armhole curve area. On the under bust here, I'm going to come outward by 1 inch and I'll also mark 1 inch on the other side. For a bigger sized bust, you may want to use 1.25, 1.5 inch for the under bust dart. Next, what I have marked there, I'm going to transfer to the waistline this way. Then I will connect from the under bust downward. Next, I'm going to connect this upward and I'll also connect this upward. The next is for us to get the overbust line where we want the dress to start from. If you want yours to start at the chest line, it is fine. But if you want it to cover the bust more, then you can go up by whatever value you want to go up by. For this, I'm going to go up by 0.75 inches. So this is going to be the overbust line. Alright, next I'm going to extend this bust span line upward. From this side now, I'm going to mark 0.75 inches. This is for the overbust tightening. And I'll repeat the same thing here. Now for a small bust, you can use 0.5, you can even use 0.25 depending on how small the bust is. And for the under bust, for a small bust, you can use 0.75 instead of the 1 inch that I used here. Next is for us to mark the quarter under bust measurement, and I have that at 6.5 inches. Then I'm going to take the that intake here, which is 2 inches, and I'll replace that here. I'll come to the waistline and I'm going to take the waist measurement for this. I have the waist measurement at 6.25 inches. I'm going to mark that here. Next, I will take the dart intake here and I will replace that on the side. First is for us to connect. To get the shape of this, I'm going to come downward from the chest line by ½ inch. Next, I'm going to connect this way. Then for this side, I will just connect this way to the armhole. Now for the bust that, where we have the bust point line, I'm going to come downward here by 1 inch. So you should take your front length and your back length and minus the back length from the front length, that is from your shoulder to your waistline. You're going to minus the back. The front is usually bigger than the back, except for children. So you should take that and find out the difference for your own bust. That's measurements. For this, I'm using 1 inch. Next, I'm going to connect this to meet this bust span line here. After that, I will open this up. After closing up the bust dart, we are going to redraw this line here. Then we'll go ahead and cut out the remaining parts. This part, you're going to cut two of this side fronts. Then this part is the center front, and this part is going to be on fold. Quickly, let's grab the back part. For the back, like we did for the front, we'll start with 5 inches. Next, we are going to take the chest line. The chest line is 6.75. Next, we are going to mark the waistline. For the waistline, I use 16 inches when drafting the front, and I use up 1 inch for the bust dart. That's 1 inch. I'm going to minus that from this 16 inches. So if you are using 2 inches for your bust dart, you're going to minus that 2 inches from your front waistline. That would be the back waistline. For this, I'm using 15 inches. So I'll come to this side and mark the same thing here. Now I'm going to label this CL and this WL. Next, I'm going to mark the half bust by measurements. I'll come to this side and I will mark the quarter bust measurements. Then at the center back here, this is your center back. We are going to contour this waistline using 1 inch. So I'm going to mark 1 inch here. We are using zipper, so this would help eliminate zipper bulge around this area and connect up. We are going to take the quarter waist measurement and we'll add 1 inch to this. See where I'm taking my measurement from. So I'm going to add 1 inch to this that will use up for the darts here. So if you're going to use that, add your dart intake to your waist measurement. So that will give me 7.25. Then here, I'm going to mark ½ inch here and I will mark ½ inch here. And from the chest line, I'll come down by 1 inch. Now I will connect like this. From the chest line, I'm going to come down with by 1/2 inch here, and I will connect to the side. So we'll go ahead and cut. I'm going to be closing up my dart line. So if you don't want to close up your dart, you want to sew your dart on your dress, then you don't have to do this. Just place your pattern on your clothes like so. So when you're sewing, you have to sew your dart this way. But if you don't want to do that, then you will have to put your paper like this to close up these darts. I want to straighten this out. Take this measurement here and I will replace this at the base. For extra firmness, tightness at this upper part, since this is a strapless bustier, we are going to tighten this upper part. So on this side, you're going to mark 0.25 inch, and on this side, you're going to mark 0.25 inch. You're going to connect this downward. I'll just use this to cover this up to give us one piece. This is the side front and this is the side back. So let's put both sides together. You can see we have them at same length. I'm going ahead to fold my fabric into two. We are going to draft the front part first. After that, we use the front to get the back. Now this is the pants side of this dress. From this top part, I'm going to mark 1/2 inch for the starting line. The width of my fold is 14.5 inches. Now, how I got this, I divided the hip circumference, which is 40 inches by 16 inches, and I got 2.5 inches. I added that 2.5 inches to the quarter hip measurement. The quarter hip measurement is 10 inches, then plus 2.5 inches, that is 12.5 inches. After that, I added 2 inches for the seam allowance. Now, the 2 inches plus the 12.5, that is 14.5 inches. I hope you get that. If you don't get it, I'm going to recap quickly, so pay close attention. The full hip circumference is 40 inches. 40 inches divided by 16. If you want to get your thigh extension, this is the method you use if you did not take the thigh measurements of your clients. So you're going to divide your hip circumference by 16. I got mine to be 2.5 inches. 2.5 plus the quarter hip measurement, that is 12.5, plus the seam allowance, that is 14.5 inches. Then from this top part, we are going to mark the hip line, and we are going to mark the knee line and the hem line. So the hip line for this is 9 inches. Then from there, I will mark the crotch depth line. The crotch depth line is your hip divided by 4, that's 10. But since this is a jumpsuit, I'm going to add extra 3.5 inches to this. Next, we are going to take the knee line. And lastly, we are going to mark the hem line. Then we are going to add the hem allowance to this. On the crotch depth line, we are going to take the quarter hip measurements. Now, if you want ease, you can add 0.5 inch to this for ease. Then we are going to mark that same measurement here, and we'll mark at the waist as well. After that, we'll connect this way. On this tie line, your crotch depth, we are going to mark the extension, which is you are either going to divide your hip circumference by 16 or you divide the quarter hip circumference by 4. So that is 2.5 inches. I'm going to extend this by 2.5 inches. We are dividing 10, which is the quarter hip circumference, by 4. It's going to give you 2.5 inches as well. Next, I'm just going to draw a curve this way. Then at the waistline here, I'm going to come downward by 1 inch. Then I'll connect this 1 inch to the side. Now I'm going to take the measurements here. I have this at 12.5. Coming to the knee line, I'm going to mark that 12.5 inches here. Then I will divide this into 2. This 12.5, I'm going to divide this into 2. So this is the midpoint. After that, I'll come inward here by 0.5 inch, and at the side here, I'll also mark 0.5 inch. Go to the hem. On the hemline here, we are going to mark 12.5 like we did at the knee area, and we'll divide this by 2 as well and get the midpoint of this 12.5 inches. After that, we are going to come inward by 1 inch here and 1 inch from this side. Now I'm going to connect this to meet with this 0.5 inch. I'll also connect this 1 inch to this 0.5 inch. Then here I will just connect down. For the waist, I'm going to take the quarter waist measurement. This is the center front, so I'm going to measure this way to the side. Then from here, I will just connect to this hip line. Down to this part. Next, I'm going to add the 2 inches seam allowance. You're going to add this from the top to the bottom. Just follow the curve, follow the lines, everything that you have drawn. That is how you're going to add this. This is not like the normal way of making pants where the back will be bigger than the front. You can see now we are adding seam allowance to this front part. Then we'll add 2 inches here. This is jumpsuit. The back would not be bigger than the front. They will be equal. That is why we are adding our allowance to the front parts. Next thing is for us to cut. We are actually done with the drafting of the front parts. I'm just going to redraw this line to meet with this point here, our new waist measurement. After withdrawing, I'm going to cut. Go ahead to fold the back fabric into two. In as much as you're not going to be adding seam allowance to the back, that doesn't mean that the back is not different from the front. So I'll place the front over the back one now, and we'll use that to cut the back. There you will see the differences. At the top part here, the back should be about 1.5 inches to 2 inches higher than the front part. So I have this at 1.5 inches already. Then at this side where we have the crotch line, you should have excess fabric here because we are going to add extension to this crotch line. And this is for the back. So here you can add 1.5 inches to 2 inches as well. So I'll go ahead and add 1.5 inches to this and draw out this line. After that, I will just trace this onto the back. Then from here, I'm going to blend this downward. Next, we are going to take the waist measurements. I'm going to be measuring from the seam allowance here. This is the quarter waist measurement here. All right. So now I'm going to connect this way to the side. First, let me roll my waistline. Then I will draw a diagonal line like this to the side. Next, we are going to measure first of all the 2 inches for the seam allowance. We have that here. Next, we are going to mark the quarter hip measurement, and we have that here. So this is the quarter hip measurements. Another thing, I want to come inward by 1 inch here at the center back. This is your center back and this is your center front. At the center back, I want to contour this because of the zipper. So I'm going to mark 1 inch here. I'll be cutting this out. Now this 1 inch that I marked here, I'm going to replace the 1 inch here. I came inward by 1 inch and I replaced the 1 inch at the side. From here, we are just going to draw our curve downward. Then this, we are also going to blend this one downward. If your diagonal line is not touching these points, you can always retrace. And that is what I am doing. Now I'm going to cut this. Then these top parts, I will cut this as well. When cutting this, I'm going to leave like ½ inch. You see what this looks like? You see this side? And this is just a perfect way of drafting and cutting the lower parts of a jumpsuit. Let's quickly cut the pockets. I have this folded in two. Next, I'm going to fold this into two again. Alright, I folded this into 9 inches and this is 8 inches. You're just going to place your hand like so and draw a curve. This part is the sleeve opening, which is 7 inches. Your hand will pass through. I have that at 7 inches here. After cutting, we have 4 pieces here. So 2 for one side, 2 for the other.